This is the Celebrity Afterlife Report podcast.
Hey, what's up? It's time once again for another edition of the Celebrity Afterlife Report, a weekly roundup of all the latest gossip about your favorite deceased celebrities. I'm the celebrity medium. Let's do it. Recently, a friend asked me if there are animals in the next world. The question surprised me until I thought about it and realized I've never mentioned the non-human residents of the afterlife on the report. Well, yes, there are most certainly animals in the next world. Just as with humans, when an animal dies, it transitions to its next existence. So that means, of course, that there are animal celebrities like Mr. Ed and Lassie there. Now, the interactions between humans and animals in the afterlife are pretty much what they are here in the earthly plane, including sports like horse racing and polo. Now, animal cruelty doesn't exist, however, so there's nothing like cockfighting or bullfighting. According to my Next World paparazzi contacts, most people seem happy with the absence of animal violence. One exception, however, is artist Pablo Picasso. On the earthly plane, Pablo was a fan of bullfighting who produced many paintings of the dubious sport. Recently, he wrote a guest editorial defending bullfighting and proposing that it be revived for The Bugle, an afterlife newspaper run by former CBS anchorman Walter Cronkite. According to a source who works at the paper, Picasso's editorial got more reader reaction, most of it outraged, than any other opinion piece the paper has ever run. Cronkite himself, I'm told, agreed with Picasso's detractors, telling a friend that the artist is, quote, a very ignorant man, unquote. So I'm guessing we won't be hearing any stories about Cronkite and Picasso attending the same Next World parties anytime soon. Now, some people, when they arrive in the afterlife, take the opportunity to change their personalities. Others continue their earthly plane ways. Comedian Andy Kaufman seems to fall into the latter category. When he was alive, Andy was known as a world-class prankster, and it seems death hasn't changed him one bit. As regular listeners to the report know, Andy has been performing as Elvis Two, a clone of his idol Elvis Presley. Presley, who said in interviews that Andy was his all-time favorite impersonator, hired Andy as a stand-in for the King, who, although not interested in performing himself, wanted to give something to the fans who still clamor for him to return to the stage. Kaufman was thrilled with the offer, but accepted it on the condition that his doppelganger, Tony Clifton, was the opening act at all Elvis Two shows. Clifton, who some say is actually Andy in a fat suit and prosthetic makeup, has a history of antagonizing audiences, and that tradition has continued in the next world. Andy is now several shows into the Elvis Two tour, and already his opening act has nearly caused a few riots and had many audience walkouts. As some shows, Clifton insists on doing a medley of Presley's biggest hits, infuriating those who are there to see Andy, who plays it completely straight as Elvis. On other nights, Tony has gone on an extended rant about the slights Kaufman has supposedly subjected him to. Now, some of the younger members of the audiences are in on the gag and take it in stride, but according to sources, older fans of Presley's take Clifton's performances as insults to Elvis. At one show, a man in the audience stormed the stage, apparently intending to fight with Clifton, and had to be restrained by security. The real Presley was said to be angry initially about Clifton's behavior and the fact that Andy's contract specifies that Tony has to be the opening act at all shows. I'm now informed that Elvis and Andy had a long private talk recently, and Andy assured Presley that Clifton would tone things down going forward. Elvis, I'm told, has taken a wait-and-see posture about continuing the tour. Former Nirvana frontman Kurt Cobain and his soon-to-be wife, model Anna Nicole Smith, are still happily together, despite many in the afterlife who predicted that the romance would never last. If anything, the relationship seems to be growing stronger despite Anna Nicole's former husband, J. Howard Marshall's attempts to break them up. Just recently, Kurt announced that he was thinking of putting together a new version of his old Earthly Plane band with Anna Nicole as the lead singer. And many are whispering that Kurt is thinking with his heart rather than his head here, as Anna Nicole never showed any signs of singing talent during her time on Earth. Cobain insists she is a woman of many talents, which comment has caused much snickering among the dirty-minded. The very pneumatic Smith is said to be taking singing lessons prior to making her stage debut. Lastly, we haven't heard much from Philip Seymour Hoffman since he transitioned to the next world earlier this year. On the Earthly Plane, Hoffman was an acclaimed actor capable of playing a wide range of roles. I hadn't heard anything about him since he arrived in the afterlife, until the other day when one of my Next World paparazzi contacts reported running into him, of all things, working as a clerk in a department store. Hoffman was wearing a name badge identifying him as Dave. The contact asked him if he was really Philip Seymour Hoffman, and the actor admitted it in a whisper. It seems that the meticulous Hoffman is working in the store as research for an upcoming part in a movie. Now that is the method in action. And with that, we slam the door on this edition of the Celebrity Afterlife Report. Please come back next week for another roundup of up-to-the-minute gossip about all your favorite deceased celebrities. I am the Celebrity Medium. Thanks for listening.
You've been listening to the Celebrity Afterlife Report podcast. To ask a question about your favorite deceased celebrity, call 818-3-MY-DREAM. 818-3-MY-DREAM. 818-369-3732.